What up, what up, what up? Welcome back to the Two Goat Show. We're your hosts, Miriah and Steph. Steph, happy Thursday. What's up? How you doing?
I'm good. I'm not too bad. Yeah, just things are starting to slow down a little bit on the free agency front, but we're starting to get more reports on top 30 visits, where the 49ers at as far as pro days goes. So there's still plenty of content to keep us rolling here.
Yep. Chat, what's up? Hope everybody is doing great. If you're a first time here on either channel, please make sure that you subscribe to both channels. Steph 49K and 49 Faithfully on YouTube. We greatly appreciate it. Let's get started because as you see, we are 15 minutes, off of our normal time. Steph has to catch a flight, so we got to get the movie star in and out, people. So we're getting to it. Steph, the biggest news, I guess, today pretty much is that 49ers are meeting with safety Julian Blackmon, previously from the Colts. What are your thoughts on this? There's been a lot of rumors, I guess, going around, especially this week, about Hufanga. It started with, it being put out there that the starting job may not, just be his when he comes back from injury. Some stuff, came out about his injury. What do you think that the 49ers saw something prior to Huff going down that they're not happy with? Do you think that they're in his injury? Maybe he's not healing up as great as he should be? Or do you think this is more of just we need to have somebody else just in case? What do you think this whole thing says about where the 49ers are with their safeties right now?
Yeah, maybe a combination of all those things, and like quite frankly, like I am only just speculating, and this is just my opinion on things. I don't know if they're unhappy with Hufunga's play. I think they do, really like Hufanga, but at the same time, like after this next season, he's going to be a free agent. So the 49ers are kind of at this, crossroads where they have to decide, okay, do we want to extend him, or do we want to see if we can bring in an upgrade? So that's where they're at. And, the fact that he had an injury this past season, I mean, that definitely makes the waters a little more murky, right? In making that decision. So I think, of course, a couple of those things are kind of motivating the 49ers to bring in someone else. I mean, it was an ACL tear for Hufanga. There's no I'm not sure where that would put him as far as like being available week 1, but even if he's available week 1, let's just say, he's back. That doesn't always equate to being back to his pre ACL tear form, right? So like he might be a step slower, which, and I point out the fact that Hufanga already wasn't the most like athletically gifted dude. There's other parts of him, like, he has quick recognition and things like that make him appear quicker on the field. But if he loses a step, and isn't 100%, right off the bat, that could hurt the 49ers too, right? And we look at where the 49ers are at in their window, and this is probably the last bit of their win now window that they have until, they can try again after Brock Purdy's extension, a little retooling and all that. But I just don't think they feel like they can leave it to chance, right? And at the same time, also looking ahead to his, contract situation, I think it makes sense that, you know, they just want to protect themselves in case of anything. And Blackman would be a good option there because he's only 25 years old, so he's young. And he's talented. He actually dealt with an injury. I believe for him it was an ACL tear a couple years ago too. But he's back to form, and he had a pretty solid season last year. I even get the sense that at least Colts fans wanted to keep him, right? So
Mhm.
that's always a good sign. You see Colts fans like bummed that he's even visiting another team. It's like that tells you he was someone who was good and someone who the 49ers I think would be smart to bring in.
I saw, a lot of the faithful kind of upset because they seem to want Justin Simmons. What are your thoughts between the two of them? With obviously, you talked about it, Blackmon's 25, Justin Simmons is 30. I'm sure Justin Simmons' price tag's higher. What are your thoughts between the two of them? And if we were talking to GM Steph, what route would you be looking towards?
Yeah, I think with the fact that he is older, uh, he also asking a lot of money. I don't know if it'd be worth it because that he would be a bridge safety, basically. Like, and I guess you could still decide to bring back Hufunga. Maybe you bring in. I would imagine Simmons wants a deal where he can maybe end his career. Or I don't know if he's looking for a 1 year deal, right?
Right.
Especially if he's asking for a certain amount of money. Usually you're not going to get that much on a 1 year deal. So I don't know. I think probably a little too rich for the 49ers if I had to guess. I mean, they're not exactly they have created cap space, but that doesn't mean they're just going to spend it willy-nilly either.
Mhm.
Not to say that like Justin Simmons is just anybody. Like obviously he would fit what the 49ers are doing. He's a very talented player, but I think if it were between the two options right now and you're looking at age and you're looking at how much they would cost, I think it makes sense what the 49ers are doing right now. And I haven't even heard anything about Simmons like visiting
Me
teams
either.
or like anything like that. So like I don't know. Again, like that just I don't want to say it's a red flag, but maybe he's waiting to see if a team will offer him what he's looking for.
Mhm.
Hasn't happened yet. So we'll see.
Definitely odd. But, I feel like we see this maybe not necessarily with that position, but it seems like every year during the free agency, there's always a couple like kind of big names left out there on the market. And it's just like, why haven't they signed yet? Like, what are they waiting for? Are they wait, and maybe he's going to be one of them this season. We'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, I liked hearing, about the, Julian Blackmon coming for the visit. I did see that, he had met with a couple teams already. Hopefully, if the 49ers feel like he is somebody that could be in their future plans, then take care of it. Don't let him leave because, especially, if the Colts want him back, I always feel like, their team, especially he's been there his entire career so far, the first 4 years, like I always feel like they have a little upper leg, and with players, but like 49ers, just if you feel like we need him, and there's not very many safeties left out there. Every day we're seeing safeties come off the market, gone, 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 gone. It's like sooner or later we need one, right? Like hurry up. So if you feel like Blackmon could be that guy, get him. Get him.
So interesting enough, like I don't think that the 49ers are like necessarily strapped to bringing in one of the top safeties. Like, yeah, we mentioned these names and they would be nice to haves. And obviously the 49ers are doing their due diligence with, these guys. And, we're talking about Blackman now, but I think they're just exploring their options. I don't even think that necessarily has to be the route that they go. I think they'd be comfortable with a number of different things playing out. Um, I could even see, Deshaun Gibson coming back on a 1 year deal. Like that wouldn't surprise me. He'd be pretty cheap. His performance hasn't really fallen off yet, even despite his age. So if he wanted to come back on a 1 year deal, I think like both sides would probably still be open to that as well. And then, you can also draft a safety high, just looking at where the 49ers have allocated, other positions in free agency, I think they're setting themselves up to, okay, whatever other needs we have, we could take care in the draft. So obviously, first round, probably an offensive lineman, and if I had to guess. But, you can go second, third round, a safety, right? And one that can start next to Jair Brown until Hufanga is healthy. And so I don't know. I think there's options out there. I don't think there's like a lot of urgency. And maybe that's the reason why, because like I don't think they're really pressed to make any kind of move quite yet, but they're looking to make the right move.
Well, I'm not happy with that stuff. I don't want no Joe Schmo freaking wait around and get the bottom of the barrel guy, okay?
I'm not saying bottom of the barrel, but
Did you see this comment? I don't know what this is, but I'm sure you know what it means.
let me see. I don't know who that is. Jeanette Goldstein.
No idea.
Who are we talking about? That had to have been in relation to someone we were just talking about, right?
Yesterday's topic.
Oh, my doppelganger? Yeah, we were talking about
Maybe.
doppelgangers yesterday with Desi. And Desi actually had like a perfect one for me. It was actually pretty creepy because I was telling Desi, like, I hate when people say I got a doppelganger. I never agree with it. And that one I actually did. So
Interesting.
Jeanette Goldstein. Oh, okay. I think you just mean in one particular movie, if I had to guess. I can see it. I'm not mad at it, I guess.
All right. So what are your thoughts? Obviously Chase Young, it came out that he signed with the Saints, a pretty interesting contract. It also came out that he had a neck injury, and he already went and had surgery for. And it came out that he played through that. So I don't know how long he played through it this last season. If he got it throughout the season, who really knows, right? But what are your thoughts on when you see the contract that Chase Young was given, and just kind of closing that whole chapter? I personally like Saints fans. The Saints fans that I know, like, they're not happy with that contract, even though it's just 1 year. Like, they're pissed that they hardly have any money, and then you guys sign this guy that couldn't even like produce or try to produce like in the playoffs and stuff. So what makes them think like he's going to show up and try to produce over there, right? And then like the injury history, and then when it comes to find out like you guys knew about the neck injury and still signed him to a guaranteed contract, like all this came out, right? So Saints fans weren't very happy about it whatsoever. And I was kind of thinking, I'm like, if the 49ers like say they really wanted to keep him, and it would have came down to a thing where, okay, he was like, the Saints offered me this, are you willing to match it? Like, I would have been pissed had the 49ers matched that and kept him, So I'm so sorry, Saints fans, but I'm so happy for you guys for signing him. What are your thoughts on that whole Chase Young situation?
I honestly didn't think the 49ers were going to bring him back. I know there were reports that the 49ers would have been open to keeping him. I think that would have been at the right price, and the right price probably would have been pretty low. So I didn't imagine that he would take that. Obviously, like, he had suitors. So once I saw he had suitors, I was like, okay, yeah, he's definitely gone, because the only scenario I could see him returning is if no one else was interested and he had to kind of settle for whatever contract the 49ers were willing to give him, right? And I was pretty adamant, I guess, like, because I kept going back to what John Lynch said about Chase Young when they made the trade, and he mentioned comp picks. He mentioned the comp pick they would get back, if Chase did leave in free agency. So that told me right off the bat that was like they just wanted someone to finish the year with because they needed it. And let's move on. Let's get the comp pick. Like that's what their mindset was. So I didn't think his play with the 49ers was enough to change that. I think it would have taken quite the performance, for them to consider bringing him back. And we didn't see it. So like
Right.
once we didn't see that, I think I was pretty. None of this really surprised me. Now, as far as the neck injury, it seemed like he did have that, if I recall, with Washington. Um, I think it was something early in the season. I think he missed a little bit of time with it too,
Mm,
but he did play. Um, and so I think that's probably why the 49ers were like, okay, yeah, like we'll trade for him because it wasn't something that was keeping him off the field. So now I didn't know he needed surgery.
mhm.
So I'm sure the 49ers at some point, kind of were aware of that, and obviously the Saints were aware of that as well as all the other teams that were in on him. So just another reason for the 49ers to kind of, take a step back on Chase Young.
Yeah, I agree. Well, we can't have a show right now without talking about Ayuk. So, I gave my feelings on the whole situation yesterday. I just kind of want to get your thoughts. I saw you tweet out some stuff, that was pretty like right on, the fact that you tweeted out like something about contracts aren't written on Twitter or, aren't agreed to on Twitter or something about that on social media or whatnot.
Mhm.
Um, and so I kind of just wanted to get your thoughts on the whole thing with Brandon Ayuk. Do you think that he's going through the whole I'm in negotiations, Debo school of negotiations type thing? Do you think he's just trolling? Do you think he actually wants to be a 49er, or do you think he wants to go somewhere else where maybe he can be a number one option?
Um, I mean, I don't know. Again, like this is just speculating, right? I mean, I think seen as how I think right now he's seeing that all options are kind of available to him, even though technically they're not. Like the 49ers still have all of the leverage in all of this. But, he's at this point where he's due for this extension. Um, he's hearing about other teams having interest in him. So, yeah, I think some of that, like, you start thinking about those things, right? And
Mhm,
I'm sure, like any other person would, start thinking about the possibilities of that. Oh, like that'd be cool. Like, whoa, if I played on the Steelers, I'd be their number one. Or if I played on the Jags, I'd be their number one. They just got rid of Ridley. Like, I'd definitely be
mhm,
that guy. Look at their quarterback. All these things, right? Like, so yeah, I mean, I think it's human nature for anyone to think of those things and all the possibilities and all that. At the end of the day, though, he's still he's still under contract with the 49ers. He's still, his fifth year option. And so the 49ers, um, have the say in how this goes. And so I think that he is kind of playing the game a little bit, and I think seeing how things went with Debo and all that. Yes, I'm sure he's had conversations with Debo as well. Um, and I think everyone knows, all the players kind of know the 49ers are going to play hardball, right? So
mhm,
the thing you can do as a player to kind of, get some of your leverage back, even though there's truly no leverage in it, is to just stir up some shit. So, just and at the same time, he's probably just having fun with it. It's a joke. He's probably is trolling too. Um, and so yeah, like Catherine says, he's playing 4D chess.
mhm.
This is basically all he can do. What else
Right.
could he do besides this to gain any type of leverage in negotiations? So, he's playing the game. But yeah, like I tweeted out, negotiations don't happen on social media. They're gonna happen between him, his agent, and the 49ers. And I don't think those conversations have really even ramped up or started yet, because the 49ers have said they won't start on his extension talks until after I believe it was the draft is what they said. So yeah, there's still some time to go for him. Maybe there's some frustration there because he's still got to wait to get your bag. Guys get
Mhm.
antsy and all that. But at the end of the day, I still have faith it's gonna get done. I was kind of joking on my show the other day that yeah, we're about a month away from him taking all 49ers stuff off of his Instagram, of him unfollowing the 49ers. If that happens, it's all just par for the course. It's all just part of the game, and I'm not gonna panic about it just because we've been here before.
Mhm.
And I don't think, the 49ers want to trade Brandon Ayuk. I don't think a team is willing to give up as much as it would take for the 49ers to accept a trade, to send away Ayuk. And so once the draft comes and goes, it's really just about waiting for that contract to get done. So
Yeah, I really hope that the 49ers figure something out. Like, I guess with Debo, it really didn't bother me because I really was to the point where if the 49ers would, this is when, he was in contract negotiations. I was to the point where if the 49ers were to trade him, I knew that they were asking for a shit ton. And like, okay, if that's what they have to do, it's a business. So like, I get it. Right. So that's where I was with the whole Debo thing. But Ayuk is one of my like top 5 players on the 49ers, right? Top 2, if we're being honest. So like, I feel like it just tugs at the heartstrings a little bit more with this one. And it's just like, man, like I see players all around the league doing it, obviously players on our team. We just went through, not obviously not the social media stuff, but the holding out with Nick Bosa, didn't bother me. But this one is just like, man, I just wish the 49ers would pay him, get it over with, so I don't have to deal with these freaking fans from the other teams running their mouth all summer about we're trading for Ayuk, seeing all these jersey swaps and all this shit, and now him following these players on other teams, social, on social media. So their teams are talking about that, like him tweeting at the freaking head coach for the Steelers. Like, I don't need this, Ayuk. I really don't need this right now.
I get it. Like I hate to see that too. Like other teams trying to claim our player basically. Like and I'm gonna put this meme up for you to share just because it's reminding me of this a little bit. This Kevin That's you. That's you trying to protect Brandon Ayuk. Don't touch our Ayuk. But no, I think it just like the way I think about it, we do the same thing, like it's just fun, even if we don't think it's gonna happen, or even if it's just we hope it's gonna happen. It doesn't mean a lot, even it's not gonna make it any more true if they're doing jersey swaps. It doesn't
I
mean it's
know,
gonna
but it's
happen. I
still
hate to
annoying.
see it, but we were putting 49er jersey swaps on Brian Burns, and I mean he did get traded, but
Yeah.
but it's all fun.
All right, quarterback topic, and then we're going to get into some who would use, and then we're going to get out of here. But the quarterback topic, it don't have to do with our starting quarterback because, we're the 49ers. We like to talk about backups and stuff. Josh Dobbs, give me your thoughts on the whole Josh Dobbs signing, all that. And also wrapped in with that, your thoughts on Jimmy G signing to be the Rams backup.
I'll start with the Jimmy G thing because I don't have thoughts on it. Like it's funny because it's Jimmy G and all that, but it's like let's move on. Like I'm cool off him. Is gonna be as insignificant as like Sam Darnold signing with the 49ers this past season. Like Stafford, hopefully he's gonna be healthy, and Jimmy
Yeah,
doesn't have
no.
to go out there, but it's not that big a deal. I mean, he's a backup. Isn't that what we kind of assumed was gonna happen with him anyway?
I
So
just love it to get at the Rams fans because they gave us so much
are they
shit for the
excited?
last how many
Yeah.
years. about Jimmy G, and now he's on their team, so now they got to deal with him.
But they still got Stafford. They still got
Yeah,
Stafford. So
Stafford
they
only
can
has
still,
a half a
they,
arm left, so it's not saying
they
he
did all
barely made it through
they
last season.
they did quite all right last year, but yeah. Dobbs though, I love that signing. I think it's awesome. I had already kind of been content on Brandon Allen being the backup. Like I just thought it was gonna be Purdy, Allen, and then whoever else, maybe a rookie, like maybe whatever rando they would have brought in to like be a cam body, right? Like, but when I saw this, I was like, yeah, yes, like he's probably one of the best backup options that was still available, right?
Mhm.
And so for the 49ers to make that move, I think was good. I do bring up the fact that, he did have some Linsanity runs where pretty much every team he was with, he skyrocketed, no pun intended. And then he kind of just fell off a little bit, interceptions kind of took a toll, and it fizzled out, right? Well, with the 49ers, he's going to be a backup. He's not going to have to start. So that's good. I also think Brian Greasy, in any case, could probably help him, get those interceptions down. It, should he have to start, like
Mhm.
you can win games with at least a few games with Josh Dobbs. That's what I
Yeah.
like too. And I think he's actually bringing something to the locker room too, right? Like I think he can help Purdy in a few aspects too. Like he's really smart. And another thing that I've noticed with him, like he was on 3 different teams, like from preseason to like the end of the season, 3 different teams. And like I said, each time that he was with a new team, like right off the bat, he was starting and he was looking good, right? So that
Yeah.
tells me like he has a first, even if he doesn't know the playbook right away, like he's bright enough that he can make it work out there. Um and so yeah, that's really what I like. I think he can Shanahan's system, he could probably pick it up pretty quickly. And you know, that's hopefully with a backup, you hope you never need him, but if you
Mhm.
do, you want to have someone like Josh Dobbs.
Yeah, I agree. I like it. I like it a lot. Um, and he was one of the best out there. Like the first couple of guys I was thinking, as a backup, like they went off the board like pretty early, and it got to the point where like I wasn't happy at all just rolling into the season with Purdy and Allen. So, and I really wasn't too thrilled for it to just be a rookie, as the third guy either. So I was hoping they'd get another, somebody in there with a little bit more experience. And like you said, he's been around, he's been thrown into so many different situations. And from this team, okay, you're starting here, the next day, okay, you're getting traded to this team, now you have to
Yeah.
start here, now you're with these people. And it's just like from one thing to another, from playbook to playbook, head coach to head coach, different players to different players, so many different situations, like seeing so much different stuff. That I mean, it can't hurt Purdy, right? Like him being there, it can't hurt.
Right.
So, and I definitely feel a lot more comfortable, like you said. God forbid if we need, the backup for a game or two, I feel a lot more comfortable with him going in and being able to win us some games than Allen. So, yeah, I'm good with that. Who would use? This is kind of like a game, kind of a game edition. You'll see. You'll find out. All right, let's get ready. Who would you take? Chat, give us your answers too. Those that are in here, give us your answers. This is any past, as long as the player played for the 49ers before, there you can use them as an answer. So, who would you take a flight around the world with?
Hmm. Current 49er only, or could I?
No, oh,
Okay, I think I'm gonna go Joe Staley because like he's just, and I'd probably say him for a lot of different ones too, just because I feel like I could probably hang out with him for a few hours, days, and I wouldn't get like tired of him. I think he'd be fun. Yeah, I think I'd say Joe.
What's up, TL? He says Patrick Willis. That's a good one. Catherine says CMC. I would probably go with, because you don't want somebody too annoying, because you're stuck out there with them.
Exactly.
And if you don't want no sloppy drunk or anything, if they have a couple drinks on the flight, can't, be getting out of hand, because I can't deal with a drunk talking too much. So, I like that Patrick Willis. I could definitely see that, because he's so, like, I love listening to him when he gets in space and talks, like he's one of the people, like, I could listen talk football like for hours and days and forever. So I like that one. Jerry Rice, Don says that's a good one. Who would you swap places with for a day? Freaky Friday edition.
Whoa.
You better think about who has a good life. Somebody that don't have an annoying wife.
And I can choose any. I can choose any.
Mm-hmm.
This is hella funny because so I would okay, I was thinking Nick Bosa, right? Because like first I want to know like how it feels to be that strong and buff. Like, what is that like? And then I thought, which reminded me of a conversation I had a couple days ago on Bully Ball. We were talking about Jimmy Garoppolo. Of course, like he always sneaks into some topics. And we're just like, God, now he's in LA. You like this dude he's so handsome and he's been freaking everywhere. He was in Vegas, now he's in LA. Everyone hide their wives, hide their girlfriends. So I don't know, maybe Jimmy G wouldn't be a bad one because he's so handsome. He's single, as far as we know. And he's in LA now, so what could go wrong?
Steph's
like,
trying to swap with him while he's with a porn star. Just watch out.
No, I have standards, okay? I have standards. Maybe hit up Sydney Sweeney or something, but but he's in LA, so the world is his oyster, as goes the saying. So I think that'd be a good one. I'm playing chess, not checkers.
I like it. I'm going to say Jerry Rice because he just looks like he lives a freaking fun, lavish, like, my everyday lifestyle is like so quiet. So like, so opposite of what anything he's doing. So I think I could do that for one day.
You like flash the rings, you have the rings.
Money's not an option, all that. So yeah, I could do that.
I love it. I love it.
All right. If you could pick, like most of us think, when Kittle retires from the NFL, he'll go into wrestling, right? If he were to leave it up to Steph to pick his wrestling tag team partner, who would you pick for him?
Wow. Someone who also like loves wrestling. So I'm trying to think who on the 49ers like also loves wrestling. I think I'd go Juice. Like Juice is his boy, and I think Juice likes wrestling too because I think they've gone to wrestling matches together. And it had to be a 49ers player, right? That I have to pick. Mm-hmm. Okay, because otherwise I'd pick Bad Bunny because that'd be fun. But okay. Greenlaw loves wrestling. Oh, that'd be we know the way he be tackling sometimes. That one's not surprising. Greenlaw, he might like wrestling a little too much, but
yeah,
no, that'd be fun too. That'd be pretty fun.
All right, so if Steph was on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, what 49ers player would you have for your phone a friend?
Ooh. Probably Juice again, because like this goes along the lines of like who's smart or like the Harvard grad who knows a lot about a lot of things. I would just assume, he'd be up there. So I think I'd go Juice.
I feel like there has to be other smart 49ers that we just
there has to. No, I know there has to, but I'm like, who? I just It's probably the third string offensive lineman or something that we don't know enough about.
All right. Who would you want? Which 49er do you think that you could beat in a tug of war match?
What?
Yep. So you better find a
You
skinny one.
you are setting me up for failure there. Have you seen me?
We're gonna
I mean,
do your partner that you team up with, and then who you go against. So think of them both.
so oh no. Did I freeze?
Yeah, you're there though. I can hear you.
Okay,
I
okay.
see you.
Okay, so I get to have a partner
Got so
against one
scared.
person.
She got so scared she was gonna get beat in tug of war. She was out of here.
I was like, I'm out. Look, I'm gonna go with Jake Moody. I'd go against Jake Moody. It was between him or Wisnowski, because those are probably the two least athletic guys. I mean, on the roster, I just got to go with my chances there. And then who would be my partner? Nick Bosa, like easily. Nick Bosa is probably like the strongest dude on the team. He has to be, right?
I'm going against Robbie Gold, so close to the same thinking, but I picked Robbie because he's older, so he ain't gonna beat me. He's a grandpa. And I picked Trent Williams to be on my team because
Okay.
his ass, big
He's
ass at the
strong
back.
too.
I don't know who can be able to pull his ass.
He's
So
strong too. Yeah.
yep. TL says Trent Williams on my team against Jake Moody. Trent, yep. You got to use Trent as the anchor. All right. Now think of, who has some nice, delicate, angel soft hands. Who are you going to have on your team for balloon toss?
Ooh. Definitely needs to be a receiver because I can't trust any of the defensive players enough. Definitely Kittle, no. He catches too much with his chest. Even Purdy has said that. So I don't trust him. Maybe Juwan Jennings. Juwan Jennings on that one. He's got some pretty good hands, and otherwise I would have said Juice, but I've said Juice too much.
And it could be past 49ers too. Don't have to be
Okay,
current.
that's true. I think I'm gonna stick with that.
JJ. Juice is a good one, especially after we've seen him do like those toe tap, catches,
Yeah.
and he made some pretty cool catches pretty recently. And we always say he has good hands, like he just doesn't get used enough. Rice, I figure people will say Rice. Yeah. That's who I was going with, but I didn't want to just
going to
use Rice for everything. So all right. Last one, and then we're gonna get out of here. Axe throwing partner. And I didn't know axe throwing was such a big thing. Like I saw this when we went to the game in Arizona where the 49ers event was. There was like an axe throwing place right next to it. And I'm like, what kind of freaking weirdo shit is this, And now I keep seeing axe throwing everywhere since. I'm like, was this always around and I just never paid attention to it? Like now I'm seeing it because, I don't know, but we don't have no axe throwing around here that I know of. That's too hillbilly shit for us.
Oh my god.
You probably got that where you're from, Steph. I know.
See, like I don't. Okay, Colorado and Vegas aren't that different as far as like demographic and terrain, I guess you could say. But okay, so I wish I knew more about the offensive linemen, because I think like there'd probably be a few guys who would be good at it, but I'm gonna just go with what I do know for sure. And I think I'd say Kittle. Like I feel like Kittle would be really good at this. Like he's like if you see him like in the off season, like I think they have a place in
Mhm.
Nashville. Him and Claire, like, they'd be up in the boonies and the woods and all that. So I feel like he could probably be pretty good at that. So I'm gonna go Kittle.
Yeah. I've seen that. And like Juice is another one where like he does some crazy workouts like during this, off times because like they just train around, their houses and with the
Yeah.
nature and all kinds of different shit out there. So yeah. So Steph, she took off on us. But good thing we were done. She's back. She's back. She was like, I'm leaving whether you're done or not.
Accidentally,
um, but yeah, so you're done for the week for your shows. We know you're catching a flight.
yeah, done for the week. Yeah, I'll be back Monday, so tune in. And I'll still be updating, the draft sheet throughout the weekend because there are some pro days. Today, like I said, we're gonna get more news about the top 30 visits, I'm sure. So we got a couple more today, so make sure you guys check that out.
2 wide receivers today.
2 wide receivers.
What's that mean? All right. So yeah, you'll catch us again next Thursday at 3 Pacific time. We'll be back for the 2 Goat Show. Until then, everybody have a safe and wonderful rest of your week and weekends. We're out of here, faithful.
Peace.